course, this battery's dead as shit. We have another one.
Gonna turn this off.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about the Fuji GFX100 II. I had that camera for 3 months and I took about 8,000 photos with it. Many portrait shoots, some landscapes. I had filmed a video about it months ago and pretty much had it all together. And I've been working on editing it. The more I listened to it, the more it kind of sounded like a sales pitch. Because at the time, the camera was brand new. It was exciting. And it does work great. Let's get into it though. We'll get into some pros and cons real quick and why I have a Hasselblad in my hand again. And also thank you. I just hit 200 subscribers. To me, that's pretty cool. So, maybe one day I'll get up to 1,000. I appreciate everyone who subscribed. Cons. The only two cons with the GFX100 II are the shutter speed sync at 1/125th. I knew that going into it, that 1/125th was the max. I kind of thought that maybe I could use my high-speed sync on my Godox light, and maybe that would help out. The reality is, when I'm shooting outdoors in sunlight, I like to have the sun behind my subject, and so I fill in those shadows with my strobe and get a nice contrasty image. I generally have to use full power for that to work. At 1/125th, outside in sunlight, you really can't have a wide open aperture, so I would just use neutral density filters. It's not a huge deal, but for someone who uses strobes on pretty much all their shoots, it started to bother me. The other con is the colors. So if you're like me and you're interested in a medium format system, you've probably read a lot of forums and watched a lot of videos on the subject. One thing that I kept hearing was, get the Fuji because it performs better. And if you shoot RAW, you can make the colors match the Hasselblad. I only shoot RAW. I went out and bought a color checker passport. I also bought the spider checker as well. Imported profiles. I know how to white balance. The fact is that the Fuji colors are not They're not as good as Hasselblad, and sometimes they're downright just bad. But I was finding that I'm having to spend a lot of time in post trying to get my colors to where they look good enough for me to want to put my name on these images. I really discovered that when I went to the Grand Canyon. I got some what I thought were great photos. For about 2 weeks, I was spending maybe 3 to 4 hours a day editing photos, trying to get them finalized. I got them mostly there. I had been to the Grand Canyon before with the 1DX Mark II, and gotten some great stuff. So I expected more out of the Fuji. It could just be me, it could just be me as a photographer, I'll say that, but I don't think it is. So after getting back from the Grand Canyon and Zion and trying to get these photos right, that's when I was like, man, I know if I had the Hasselblad, I know it would look better. And honestly, I missed it the entire time. I kept thinking about it. I was happy to get a better performing camera. After a few months and many thousands of photos, I've gone back to Hasselblad. The two cons are sync speed's not my favorite, big deal. Color science, I guess just image quality in general. It's still a medium format camera and it can take great photos. Compared to the Hasselblad, it does fall short in image quality. And for me, at the end of the day, everything that I'm doing photography related is about the final product. And not to mention, I saw that Hasselblad added face tracking and live view in their app. As soon as I saw that announced, I felt dread washing all over me because I had just got rid of my Hasselblad. My Fuji was past the return policy. So, I listed it for sale. It's fine because I just want to have a nice camera that takes good pictures. So let's talk about the pros now because, there's plenty of them. I don't think there's going to be many people who buy that Fuji camera who are going to feel the same way I did. I filmed a lot of videos while I was in that honeymoon stage, but that's not really fair to you guys. I just want the honest truth on things whenever I'm researching, and no one's told me to buy anything. No one's given me any cut. This is me with my gear acquisition syndrome and what I've learned. The pros are that the Fuji GFX100 II, the body, the quality was great. It felt way better than the previous medium formats they had, the 50S, the 100S. I held those at my camera store and I thought they felt cheap. The newest one, the 100 Mark II, it feels much more sturdy. That grip feels incredible on there. It feels like a 1DX. It feels like a solid piece. So now that I'm back with the X2D, I can say, yeah, the Fuji's a much better focuser. There's plenty of times where I'm trying to take pictures in darker situations and I'll, put the focus box where I want it to be. The Fuji just locks on and it will focus even if it's almost pitch black. It's kind of insane how good the Fuji picks up what you want to focus on. The Hasselblad does not. But the face tracking has been a big bump in that department. Fuji, it will stay on your subject. It stays on the eye constantly, and it focuses on the eye. I would say I had a 98% hit rate when it came to the eye focus. The focusing is great. Build quality is great. Image quality is good. It's not bad. Let's talk about lenses real quick. I brought the 28 5.6 Midikon Zongi. I don't know how to pronounce that. I brought that to the Grand Canyon with me because I wanted a really wide lens. In hindsight, I should have just got the Fuji one. I don't feel like that lens can resolve the full 100 megapixels. And yeah, I don't think it's the best performer. But for the money, it's good. And I did get a great shot. that I had printed 30x60 and it holds up. I mean, it can work. I feel like you should probably just get one of the Fuji lenses. Fuji makes good lenses. So that 28 5.6, it is a very small lens. It was my favorite thing to hike with when I was hiking through the Grand Canyon with medium format gear. I just wanted to keep that on the body. I brought the 28 and the 55 with me, but let's move up. The 55 1.7 is a great lens. For me, I've never been a fan of 55. It's such a no man's land, but the 1.7 is so nice, and that lens does focus fast, and it's very sharp. There's nothing bad to say about that lens, especially if you like that focal length. Then I had the 45 to 100 because I was trying to be reasonable, and I thought I could just keep that lens on the body forever, never have to change lenses. 45 is not quite wide enough. That lens, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a very boring lens. There's no other way to put it. There's no magic look that it provides. It just works. It's like a Toyota Corolla. Okay, I got the 32 to 64 zoom. But I got that right before I decided to get rid of the Fuji, so I don't have much experience with it. But what I can tell you from the little time I did spend with it is it's a great lens. That would be my recommended lens for everybody. I feel like that 32 to 64 is your walk around, use everyday lens. And then for portraits, we're getting to the best lens. The GF110 f2 is probably the best portrait lens I've ever used. It's hard to say, but I mean, it's so good. It reminds me of the Zeiss kind of 3D pop, rich magic. You know, there's just something that lens would put on the pictures that honestly the past 4 portrait shoots I did with that camera, I used the 110 exclusively. There was no reason to put any other lens on there because the way I shoot, I generally shoot kind of tight. I loved that lens. So, I mean, if you're going for 2 lenses, my recommendation you see my work, you see what I'm up to, is 32 to 64 and the 110. The viewfinder was great. I'm not a fan of these film simulations. Like, I don't know what kind of photographer you are. I like my pictures to look timeless and classic and just rich. And a lot of people like the Fuji film simulations, but I don't understand them. But if you're one of those people who likes that, you're gonna love the camera. I would always just keep mine on black and white preview on the back and shoot raw, and then try to make my colors look as lifelike as possible in post. The menu system's huge. It's a lot more to have to work through. There's a lot of tricky things that I would hit a weird button every once in a while, and there'd be like a lock icon. I feel like there's too many options in there. Pal2 Tech is like my favorite guy to watch when I was trying to set my camera up. He's like a Fuji ambassador, or I'm not sure how he's related to Fuji, but he helped me set up my camera. And you're going to kind of need some help to set that up. The Hasselblad is very simple, but it's also very effective. But I will say this, I mean, with that Fuji, I finally got to hit the ground running. With my Hasselblad with the X2D, I kept buying lenses, trying to find like the magic combo so then I could start using it. With the Fuji, as soon as I got that 55, I was already rocking and rolling. Then I got that 110 and I was very inspired, set up a ton of shoots, got a lot of work done. Then I wanted something wider and eventually ended with that 32 to 64. But what I was finding slowly is that I missed the Hasselblad. There was that voice in my head that kept telling me, you should look at that old camera again and maybe it's not as bad as you thought. You know, I took a bunch of sample pictures when I first got the X2D. One was of my dock on my birthday. And it's just a picture of my dock, nothing special, but I really liked that picture. When I was back there again with the Fuji, and it was that same lighting, same area. And when I was editing those pictures back home on the computer, I kept noticing these gross color tints that I could not get rid of no matter how hard I tried. I was like, man, I wonder how that Hasselblad would have done. And that began me slowly, wanting to come back. A few weeks after that, they released this update. Now, I think I'm the only guy who made a video trashing the X2D, but it's kind of funny that, they added face tracking and live view in the app. So, I mean, they're listening and that's great. And, I'm back. So this time I have the 35 to 75. I just got this lens. I haven't done like a real test shoot with it yet, but I am going to Hawaii in a couple weeks and I didn't want to bring that Fuji with me. There's something missing there. I'm going to try to do the best I can. And hopefully when I get home, I'm rewarded on the computer instead of taxed. I feel like the Fuji is the better camera if you're out in the field trying to take pictures, trying to work. It's gonna find focus. It's gonna nail focus. Everything is lightning fast. Fun to use. It's a nice camera. But then you get home and you start dealing with the colors and it's just the image quality is not on the same level as this guy. There's something magical, some kind of X factor in here, and that's what I want. I got this one used off of B&H. Still have the protective screen on the back. And there's no burnt out pixels on here. I now have face tracking. This camera feels great. I've definitely missed this build quality and I'm happy to be back. So I guess you guys know if I get frustrated with this, I'll sell it and I'll try to find the next best thing. There's no such thing as a perfect camera. I've just been taking a couple pictures around my house with this guy and I'm very happy to be back. The image quality, the colors are just so good that, yeah, I had to make the switch. So in closing, the Fuji's a great camera. I don't think anyone was going to hate it. If you're in that price range of buying that new Fuji, for me, this is the better choice. You know, if you're interested in getting a medium format system, maybe hop around on some forums and search for some used Fuji gear, because it's insane how much money you can save. But, you know, if you want a return policy, you can always buy it from, you know, a big retailer. So anyway, this video has gotten long. I wanted to be objective. I wanted to tell you where I'm at right now, and where I'm at is back with Hasselblad. I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully I get some great photos when I'm in Hawaii. And if you have any questions, let me know, and feel free to argue in the comments or whatever. We'll get some engagement up. All right, see you guys.